What if I told you the world as you know it is not reality? You'd probably think I am an insane conspiracy theorist from Facebook. And for the most part, you'd be right. But in the case of this movie, reality as you know it might not be real. Today I will be talking about The Truman Show. It's a Jim Carrey movie, so you know it's good. This video will contain spoilers for The Truman Show. And based on how I started this video, I'm sure you know where this is going, so roll the intro. So to briefly summarize this movie, Truman Burbank grows up in a artificial reality. It's a very, very large set with thousands of cameras where he grew up being watched 24/7 and every moment of his life has been scripted. But things start to break the illusion, which leads to Truman growing curious and breaking free of this reality. So I'm going to talk about the philosophy of The Truman Show. So if you want to know where this concept came from, it is not The Matrix. What year did The Matrix come out? I just found out The Matrix came out 1 year after this movie. These movies are frighteningly similar, despite being released a year apart and actually having very little in common other than this theme, which is Plato's Allegory of the Cave. Plato's Allegory of the Cave is a hypothetical story about people who have lived their whole lives in this cave. Now, let's pretend that they don't have to eat or go to the bathroom or anything. And there's these shadow puppets being projected on the walls in front of them. And they live their whole life seeing nothing but these shadow puppets. One of them breaks free and sees the real world, trees, the sky, everything, and goes back to tell the others what he had seen. From the perspective of us who have lived our entire lives with the reality that we are in, it is basically impossible to convince us that none of it is real, or that it isn't a genuine reality. Go ahead, try to convince a friend that everything they've ever experienced was a lie. See what happens. So anyway, yes, the person goes back to the cave, they don't believe him, and that is something to apply to this story, but it's also something to apply to the real world. When we talk about the self, like I did in the Ghost in the Shell video I did the other day, it is hard to prove your own existence in an objective sense, other than speaking from your perception of reality, which can be false. People in the real world theorize that the reality that we live in is a simulation, which very much like the Matrix. The hard part is proving that it isn't, because it's hard to prove what reality is without relying on your senses. And this has been debated on for literally thousands of years. So that brings us back to The Truman Show. How is he supposed to believe that his whole life has been a lie up until this point, just because a few things go wrong? And for a while, it appears that he doesn't want to believe that everything is a lie, but people won't let him go where he wants to go. He can't make his own decisions. And it starts to become apparent to him that this reality has been manufactured. He has been put in a position where he has no free will. He might be led to believe that everything he has, his wife, his job, his friends, is all just a part of his upbringing, but it was all planned. None of it was of his own exploration in the world. It was all predestined for it to happen. And yes, very similar to the Matrix again. Plato's cave analogy is thousands of years old. Yes, they're both basically the chosen one. They both are in an artificial reality that seems mundane and real. And then the real world, the Matrix, shows that the real world is a very dystopian, apocalyptic future. What makes The Truman Show brilliant, other than being a really good Allegory of the Cave story, is that when his reality starts falling apart, we witness the damage control being done by the people running the scenes. Christoph, the man running the show, tries to justify everything he's doing by saying that not only did he give Truman a life that he probably couldn't have had otherwise, but he made him famous. Everyone loves him. He must appreciate this world he's been given, but it's not a genuine reality. And Truman's pursuit of the truth is so strong that he would rather die than live a lie. The first instance of damage control we get is when he runs into the same actor who played his father, and they immediately drag him off and try to cover it up. And every character manipulates him emotionally. His mother, his wife, everybody. And whenever he wants to travel, where he would have to, end up hitting the edge of the fake reality, they force him out of it. They use these subtle imagery, not even subtle actually. They use imagery to subconsciously change his mind about doing something because it would be dangerous. His best friend tries to talk him out of doing what he wants to do and to just get back to his normal life. And in one of the most devastating scenes in the movie, his best friend gives him a little speech about how he would do anything for him and that he would never lie to him. And the sad part is he is being fed these lines through a microphone, through Christoph himself. So Truman has some creative ways of getting around these manipulative tactics. He basically takes his wife hostage, which goes down a rabbit hole of people trying to basically arrest him. And then he, somehow evades the cameras and goes missing at night, and that's how we get towards the end of the movie when he hits the edge of the false reality. One of my favorite things about this movie is the consumerism critiques. They always have to hold up the product. And here, let me just give an example. Oh, wow. I just removed all the stains from my Yonaha merchandise. Very nice, very high quality. I wear this every day. I don't even wash it. I don't even shower. This is what I wear all the time. 100% cotton. Like, they'll just pick up whatever because they're trying to make product placement money. And I love that so much that it just fits in the movie. And he doesn't notice it until way after his reality has started to fall apart, where he's like, what are you saying? Who are you talking to? And then she accidentally calls out for someone to do something, and he realizes that there are people watching, there are people listening. Now, I imagine anyone who is prone to paranoia would hate this movie. Take my word for it, this reality that we live in is the one true reality. There's nothing fake about this one. Truman escapes the false reality. He hits the edge and forces Christoph himself to confront him, in which he can't be convinced to stay. And he says his signature line and he walks out the door. What's tragic is we don't know how hard the world outside of this could be for him. This victory could mean very little. We don't know how long he lives. We don't know if he finds happiness. But all that matters to him is that he is finally free. And that's what's so poetic about this movie. That poses a question I have for you, and I'd like for you to comment what your answer is. Would you rather continue to live in a false reality where you are guaranteed some form of security in your life, or would you risk it all for the true reality? If it were the Matrix, I'd want to stay in the Matrix. Now, this is the same question posed in the Matrix, red pill, blue pill. When you see what it's like outside of the Matrix, it's like, does the truth really matter? I could live my whole life happier in a false reality. Now, this is something that a lot of fiction has gone over. Like, I think Rick and Morty has done this. I can't think of others off the top of my head. It's a question to ponder. Is the true, authentic reality worth it over the more comfortable false reality? If you can't tell the difference, then does it matter which one is real? Does authentic or real mean anything? These are the questions I like to think about. And that is why I think The Truman Show is a masterpiece. But anyways, that's all I wanted to talk about today. If you like this video, subscribe to the channel for more content. And check out the Yonaha merch. I now have a page on my website for the Yonaha collection. I really need help, guys. But anyways, in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.